Okay, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not the sole person that noticed that the word saviv is repeated in this parsha, and that word is bebas backwards. The fact that this happened in perfect synchronization with current world events is not at all the first time this has ever happened. This is part of the idea that in Judaism, time is not linear, it's cyclical. It's like a spiral. Every time we celebrate Pesach, for example, we are not just celebrating Pesach in a memorial, we are living the ongoing activity of Pesach in our generation. And so these sort of repetitions occur all the time. And many people have become more cognizant and noticed this since the war in Israel started, because it's almost like every week something in the Parsha matches up like verbatim, word for word, or the gematria matches perfectly. There's some sort of like direct, concrete connection with the exact week event, like weekly events that are taking place. And in this case, it was noticed that, like I said, Bebas occurs with Saviv, uh, backwards and forwards in this Parsha several times. I don't have that on this screenshot. But if you look it up after Shabbat, Hamish Humor's Facebook page, they actually posted the concept and it's spread several. It's gone viral, so it's pretty easy to find. Um, but it's in the part that talks about the Aron Kodesh and the design of it. Yes, yeah, that's it exactly. So one of the keys to understand this is that the word Aron, while we understand it means ark, it also means sarcophagus or coffin. And so when we look at this, we see there's two cheruvim, two angels placed on the ark as witnesses, essentially, right? And they testify to the truth of Hashem. And then we see very close proximity to these mentions of Saviv, Bebas, backwards. Now, Saviv and Bebas have a gematria of 74, which is the same as Ed, which is witness. Hashem will judge, Yadin, is also 74. And when calculating in what's called Mispar Siduri, the ordinal values, which is like A would be 1, B would be 2, C would be 3, Z would be 26 in English. That's ordinal values. So it's just the order of the letters, and that's their value. The ordinal value calculation for Derech Emunah, the way of faith, from Psalm 119:30 is 74. It gets kind of crazier though, because remember, there's two of these boys, right? There was two of these innocent children. And so 74 times 2 is 148. And it's almost like their name spoke out a prophecy mathematically through the Hebrew language in this weird sort of fractal reverberation through time. Because Mahamas, from Hamas, from violence, equals 148. As does the phrase, and their floods. And Hamas named their attack Al-Aqsa flood. It's almost as if by choosing to act evilly, these monstrous, demonic, inhuman beings proved that the Torah is intertwined perfectly with the daily reality of Israel. Their attempt to do the opposite, to destroy Judaism and to slay and harm Jews, actually gave proof, concrete, incontrovertible, mathematical proof that Hashem is embedded within the very fiber of our beings, even in this day and age. And that no matter how hard they try to rebel and fight and hate us, even when they slay us, they are doing nothing but proving Hashem correct, 100% through and through. Pesach also equals 148, which Pesach is, of course, a time of divine judgment and redemption. Benei Elohim equals 148. Is not all of Yisrael Benei Elohim? Netzach, the Sephira from Kabbalah, which also means victory and eternity, equals 148. Furthermore, when you factor 148, it's 2 squared times 37, and 37 is the ordinal value of Chokmah, wisdom. And with wisdom, Hashem founded everything from before the beginning of creation itself. The Bebas boys were taken from us, but they have become tablets of testimony themselves. They have become witnesses of the violence of the nations, the floods of their wrath, and the evil of Hamas. And yet Hashem will vindicate them, Yadin. And we have victory, Netzach, eternally, Netzach, through being Benei Elohim by submitting to his will and his Torah. And that's all. That's all I got for this week. I've been kind of fixated due to my autism and knowing a lot of people in Israel over this last year and a half. So I didn't pull up a normal message or anything like that. I simply, and Saviv means to surround, right? Like Hashem surrounds us in life or death. And we just have to trust in him, because clearly he is impeccably perfect, capable of inspiring a text thousands of years old that reverberates in perfect sync with the lives of the Jewish world and the lives of the people of Israel forever. And so in spite of all of the grief and the tragedy and the horrors of the things that are going on in the world, I didn't know if I wanted to share this message, being that it's Shabbat and, I don't want to have any sort of negative thing going on. But the point here is to transform that negative and recognize that Hashem is so far exceeding beyond our perception of things. If we could see from his perspective, even this horrendous and completely unjust tragedy ended up confirming the words of the Torah in the most remarkable way. And so, yes, may we all merit to see through the illusions of this world and cleave closer to Hashem every day. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. Thank you. Thank you, Rav Michael. And it was perfect. It was not inappropriate.